Howdy, folks. How are we today? Welcome to your CBBC live coverage. Breaking news, late word today. I want to tell you a quick story. I want to tell you firstly a story about an agent who's new to the business and all of a sudden ramps up very quickly and ends up with multiple deals. New to the business, that's a dangerous position to be in. There's an awful lot of deadlines and details to be up to speed on. And when this particular agent all of a sudden finds themselves involved in 4 separate transactions all at once, this agent can get really, really lost. And what happens when you get lost with multiple clients? Well, people can lose money, people can sue you, there could be all kinds of problems. So I want to talk to you here in a few minutes about a solution that would fix this problem for that agent. I want to tell you a second story about an agent who has been in the business for a while and has experienced a great deal of success. And they are just at that level where they're about to move to the next step with their business, and they're thinking hard and fast about hiring an assistant to help them out with their expanding business. And the problem is that agent is a little bit hung up on the cost of paying someone full-time and any of the 1099ing and all the tax situation around that. And we do have agents, many agents in this company, who have absolutely outstanding assistants, and we love them. But for a lot of us, we're thinking, gosh, that's a big commitment for me to make. If my business slows down, will I still need them? I don't know if I'm ready to take that step yet. We're also here to talk to that agent, or talk about that agent, and a service that we offer around here that is called, fondly, CB2Go, CB2Go. CB2Go solves these kinds of problems and many others. So let's begin to talk about what this is all about. CB2Go is transaction management on demand for you, our agents out there. And this is a subsidized program, like so many others from our company, not offered by most of our competition. In fact, none of our competition that I'm aware of. This offers you the opportunity to have the kind of service and professionalism offered to you by having an assistant, but only while you need an assistant. And that is something that's critical to pushing our businesses to the next level and seeing our way to the Broadmoor, to extra closed sides this year, to more money, to more vacations, to more freedom, to more time to spend in front of new clients rather than handling the clerical work that is demanded once we go into contract. If you really stop to think about it, from the moment your contract is signed until the moment you close, you're not making any money. All of the clerical stuff that you have to do from point A to point B is not making you one more dime. So where would that time be better spent? With us dotting our I's and crossing our T's, or with us spending more time prospecting, or spending more time with our families? That part of it's up to you. What you want to do with the extra time is up to you. But let's talk about why this might be a great option for you to go with. This has been developed as kind of a menu-style situation for you. So, anybody going to take a listing this year? Is anybody planning on taking a listing? Do you think anybody should take a listing this year?
I absolutely do. Even I'm going to take a listing this year.
Katrina even is planning to. And I just said in my last WebEx, as a matter of fact, for the first time, and I am so happy to tell you this, inventory in the Denver MLS at least is up 10% year over year. That means people are beginning to list their homes. Does anybody know what Chris McGatt calls this the year of? Do you know, Katrina?
I do not know.
He calls it the year of the listing. Guess what he called last year? The year of the listing. Guess what he called the year before that? Year of the listing. Looks like we're finally actually seeing some. So let me talk to you about and I'm just double checking prices. I think there may be a minor dispute in pricing on this, but I'm double checking for you right now as we speak. Except my phone won't work because it doesn't like me and I don't have any answers. For right now, if you take a listing, the package that goes along for CB2Go, the package that goes along with your listing assistant is $175. And what that includes for you, have you spent any time ordering listing rewards? It's a great system, and it's a one-stop shop, but it also can be time-consuming and frustrating. Why not let somebody else have that frustration? I would. So listing rewards, they will take care of that for you. They will schedule your photography. They will order your sign install, order a home warranty if such is included in your transaction. They will send the client an introduction letter, and this is a solid piece of customer service because it makes you look like a larger going concern than perhaps you even feel like you are. But it certainly adds to your level of professionalism when your team is there to help your client. In addition to that, they will enter the listing itself into the MLS. Who enjoys making those entries into the MLS themselves? Who enjoys filling out an MLS listing form? I was an agent for a number of years, and I can tell you that is one of the most odious thankless, unhappy jobs in this whole industry. I do not like filling out anything having to do with the MLS. So I would love to have someone who does this all day long. These guys are experts. They are phenomenal at what they do. They will make sure that everything is proofread and goes into the MLS right the first time. What do we call old inventory? I, in my new agent training classes, call inventory that's lasted longer than the average days on the market a day-old donut. And in a market like this, needless to say, property can become a day-old donut within a weekend. So you want to make sure that what goes in the MLS is accurate and exactly as you intended it for it to be the first time. You don't get a second chance at making a first impression. So having a professional do that for you is phenomenal. Managing and tracking signatures on the listing documents. This is incredibly important also. No one likes to get to a closing and find out that the stuff that they were supposed to have is not filled out. Nothing makes you look worse than having your client fill out additional paperwork that should have been done weeks ago at the closing table. Avoid that. Have somebody make sure that they're tracking those signatures. How about managing and proofing your listing rewards marketing? If one of those flyers gets out with a typo in it, you're going to end up with more expense and more embarrassment right there in front of your client. Doesn't need to happen. Have a professional look and proofread all of your marketing materials. How about managing the listing with your office staff and with CSS? That's handled for you as well. And then the regular seller follow-up. So in the event that you're going to be traveling, for example, this might be a terrific time to use CB2Go. If there is feedback to be delivered to your seller, you may want to do that yourself, and that's entirely up to you, but CB2Go will be happy to deliver that feedback on your behalf. How about any MLS changes, price reductions, and that sort of thing? It's easy for us to get an email or to get a amend with broker to adjust the price, and then sometimes it slips past us to remember to actually change that price everywhere where it needs to be changed. That, again, is just another opportunity for us to drop a ball that we don't have to drop. So keep in mind, CB2Go can do that for you. Let's talk about the more expensive package and the one that may be even more useful to most of you, and that's what happens once you put a property under contract. By the way, if you don't have one of these trifold flyers, go and seek one out. They should be in your offices. They look a lot like this. They say CB2Go, and they explain everything that I'm talking to you about in great detail. Isn't that good enough? Okay, moving right along. Your closing assistant, $300. This may be $325 now. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, wait, no, it's still $300. However, when we were just talking about your listing assistant, that's now $200. My apologies. I was waiting on a text. It finally arrived. $200 for the listing assistant and $300 for your closing assistant. So let's talk a little bit about what you get with your closing assistant, because this is really where the rubber meets the road. Okay, creating a sales information report. Remember what I said about filling out the MLS input sheet? That's a bad, what did I say? Odious? I think they said odious, unhappy, thankless. Talk about filling out an SIR. That's just as bad. Something that the company desperately needs to make sure that you get paid, among other things. So it's a critical part of the process, but no fun to fill out. Let somebody else do it. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Couldn't you? Yeah, you could. So I'm just saying, the SIR, send the introduction letter to all the parties in the transaction, because now you've got a buyer and a seller because you're under contract. Everybody gets to know that you are a high-level professional, and there's a team of experts working with you to make sure that it's a smooth transaction for everyone involved. That's a critically important part of making your business as professional as it can be. Let's talk about managing and tracking signatures on documents. Okay, so has anybody ever been in a transaction where you ended up at some point along the way adjusting the purchase price? Fine. So we've just decided to do that, and what do you need to back that up? Well, you need an amendment to the contract. And woe to the agent who gets all the way to closing and finds that amend never made it to the title company and or the lender and or the other agent. And guess what? You know having no closing that day if you don't have that amendment. So that's a bad, bad situation for you and could have been avoided if you had an expert assistant working on your behalf. So don't let that happen. That would be bad. Let's talk about managing the transaction with your office staff, which again gets to happen for you. Tracking dates and deadlines, critically important, especially if you're on the buy side. You get a lot of contract dates to keep in mind. Scheduling the inspection, the appraisal, and the closing, all things that, those are 3 phone calls that you could be making to new clients rather than just holding this deal together. Let's talk a little bit about taking a look at your settlement statements. They're going to review those for you, and they're going to look over your commission disbursement authorization. What is that? ask you, what do you ask? You ask me, what is a CDA? What is a Commission Disbursement Authorization? That is the piece of paper that gets you paid. So whether you know about it or not, it's important to you. Very important to you. All right, let's talk about turning in the completed close file to the office. CB2Go will handle that for you. Tracking the amendments, we already talked about the importance of tracking amendments, and any MLS changes once you've gone under contract. Putting it, is it showing under contract? Are you taking backups? What's the story with that? Making sure that that status looks right is also going to be important in this fast-moving market. So these are some of the services that Dave Fairbrother, who has been in the transaction management business for a long, 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 long time. Dave Fairbrother and Sterling Transaction Management is the company that we have partnered with to offer you these services at discounted rates. This is not what they charge the average Joe on the street. This is what they charge Coldwell Banker agents. So once again, as with so many other things, we are subsidizing this heavily for you. So, to recap, you're going to be busy in the summer season. This is now the time to really think about this. If you've got a lot going on and you would like to make the most out of your summer selling season, you might consider passing off for a low, low price some of the clerical work that keeps you from dealing with additional clients. And guess what? If things slow down for you in the fall, if you get to Q4 and you don't have any business, which I hope, I'm not sure that won't happen to you, but if it did happen to you and you just don't have a lot of business going on, you don't need to pay these guys. So CB2Go is there for you when you need it to be there for you. It will make you look more professional. It is an affordable way to avoid having to hire a full-time assistant. We hope that many of the people who go to this program on a regular basis will be the next ones who have to make the next jump to hiring their own assistants. And we would love to see that. We would love to see every one of you be able to do that. But in the meantime, we need to be able to provide that bridge for you that helps you build your business and push you to the next level. This is just another tool that Coldwell Banker here in Colorado makes available to you so that you can do whatever I just said. This has been fun. Does anybody have any questions out there? No one wants to talk about it anymore? All right. Well, thank you for your time today. If you have any further questions about CB2Go, feel free to contact Adam Cox at our North Metro office, who organizes this and is our liaison with the CB2Go folks, or reach out to your managing broker or your educator, and we will be happy to fill you in on any details we may have missed here today. Hope that you have a lovely, lovely weekend, and we will see you again, same bat time, same bat channel, next month, when we will be discussing the CB2Go program again. Have a good day.